So like I said, I got a job with Xerox and I wanted to be in marketing, but they put me in sales. And I was devastated because I didn't want to sell anybody, right? I'm a nice
Right.
guy. I don't sell people. So my dad told me, he said, this is the best thing that could ever happen to you because when you learn sales, you can use it in your life in so many different ways, right? So I got I would call him a coach. At that time, we just followed, great salespeople. And the guy that I followed around taught me that sales is not about convincing people to buy what they don't need. It's about
Mm,
helping them get what they already need. Right.
right.
And yeah, and that's how I learned consultative selling. And within 18 months, I was one of the top reps because I learned this new way of selling where you're not pushing anything on people. And then at the same time, I was into personal development. So I was listening to tapes. Some of you are too young to know what cassette tapes are. I listened to tapes and watching videos. Les Brown was one of the guys I was watching, and thank you for putting me on the stage with him. By the way, I got to share the stage with Les Brown because of you. Thank you.
Well,
But anyway, yeah. So that's when I started speaking, and then it led to getting a speaking engagement where they actually paid me. They said, "Well, we don't have much in the budget. We only have $500. Will you accept it?" I'm like, yeah. I'm in my 20s. I'm like, I'll accept $500 for sure. So anyway, that's how I started speaking. And I just love it. I love the industry. And at that time I thought it was very competitive, but it was nothing close to what it is now. Now, it was nothing close to what it is now. But I'm gonna share more on how to navigate that. But then after I moved up to be vice president of sales, and then I went into became an entrepreneur, started my production company. And then I realized that a lot of entrepreneurs are not good at selling because they weren't taught how to sell. They just think that, hey, if I have a great product, everybody's going to buy it. And that's not the case, right? So then I started my business where I started coaching entrepreneurs on selling their offers without being pushy or salesy. And I did that for several years. Then one day I spoke on a stage in a studio about what I'm doing, and that like changed my life because I got to learn about studio speaking, and that's how I started my new company. And
I love that. I
I
love.
see people here I know, by the way. So
Oh,
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. Philip spoke on our stage. Yeah, good to see you,
Mhm.
Philip. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I saw Pam Perry. She's speaking on our stage next month, next week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks in 2 weeks. So yeah, great.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Having been in this game full time for now, I just celebrated my 19th year as a
Wow,
full-time professional speaker.
wow,
So
it's
I,
amazing.
I've been around a bit, and I love what you're all about, Eric, because when I think about our members who are here today, some of them have they've already killed it, they've crushed it, they're just like trying to sustain or go to that next level. But we have a lot of people who know that they have not yet really tapped into their full potential as a speaker with regards to getting the message out, right? So they've been working on their craft. They have a great message. I know my friend and my brother Ray East, like I've been walking with this brother for several years, and we have been together studying AI, studying, business transformation. And there he is so brilliant. And as he's preparing, his messaging, the challenge is like for many speakers is visibility, right? So you got all of this potential, you got all of this brilliance. And so now that you've worked that part out, like my brother here, Sean, good has like lived the life that is a story, transformative story. Now getting that out and getting people to hear it, like that's the challenge. So visibility is so, so important because here's the thing. If you're the only one who knows how good you are, then you don't have the opportunity to transform the world. So getting your message out there and what through whatever method, like for me, I did 175 speaking gigs my first year. I think I even shared that when I was
You
on your
did
show.
it. Yes, you did that. Share that on
I,
the stage.
I did 175 speaking gigs my first year as a speaker. So I had my own strategy, my own formula, and I did whatever I did. But what
That moving part is ugly.
up, somebody's unmuted. If you could mute yourself, everyone, that would be great. But if we could, really just get clear on our strategy, like what is your strategy going to be to really get visibility? You need a strategy. You can't just have the skills and say, I'm a great speaker. People are going to find me. I'm going to put my LinkedIn post and do my little social media and everybody's going to find me. It doesn't work that way. So that leads me into this question for you, Eric, because I know you have experience and you have wisdom in this space. So when you think about a new speaker, and I won't even say new speaker, but just someone who really wants to elevate. When you think about someone who really wants to elevate their visibility, what are the first two steps you'd recommend that they do to begin building visibility and authority if they don't already have a massive platform or, big platform that some people come out, like Bernice came out as a celebrity. I'm like, girl, you don't count. You don't count. Out as a celebrity,
Yeah.
right? And we often joke about that, but she still, even though she was a celebrity when she came out of the military, she still had to really work hard to increase her visibility and authority. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, Eric?
Yes, absolutely. For me, a lot of what I did and a lot of what I teach revolves around social media and just being online. And I think the reason is when I started my career, there was no social media. And I know how hard it was, right? It was just people you know. It was just people you know. But you can get out to a lot more people now because of social media. And first of all, you have to build an audience. You have to build an audience. You have to separate yourself from the masses because there are a lot of speakers, right? And it's hard to know the good ones from the people that are not so good, right? So you need to separate yourself from the masses. A great example I like to use is Starbucks. So when Starbucks started, there you can get coffee anywhere, right? You could get coffee anywhere. Every restaurant had coffee. There were coffee shops. You can go to McDonald's and get coffee, right? So you think, why would they create a company and sell coffee? Well, they were able to separate themselves from the masses, right? And where now people that buy Starbucks, they don't go anywhere else but Starbucks, right? And they became, the biggest company in the world selling coffee. So that's what you have to do. You have to build know, like, and trust, right? So when you online, when you're building know, like, and trust, what you have to do is you have to give people valuable information that they can use. That's how you do it.
Mhm.
And it's not even as hard as people think. You have to find your target market. So who are you targeting, right? And then once you find the target market, then you connect with them on a massive scale. I'm not talking like one or two. You get a list, ChatGPT, just go there. Trust me. Yeah, like again, we didn't have ChatGPT, right? And then find out your target market, connect with every single one of them online. And then once you connect with them, then start to engage with them, sharing valuable information. So people say, okay, this person would make a great speaker on our stage, right? And you have to engage. Here's another thing. When I say engage, don't just post and not like other people's posts, right? So if I send you a message and I'm connecting with you, I'm going to like your posts because guess what encourages people to follow you or to watch what you do is because you like their post, right? So every day in the morning, make sure you do that for at least 10 people before you start, and you'll see how your engagements will grow, right? Also be consistent. Be consistent. I mean, now, I have a team now, so it's every day that I put out content. But even if it's like 2 times a week, right? Make sure those 2 times you are building your audience online so more and more and more people can see what you do.
I love that. You talked about, Starbucks. What they really did, Eric, is they built a culture, right?
Yeah.
They didn't just say we're just going to build a brand. They built a culture connected to their brand, and that's something I had an opportunity to have just sit down and have a virtual chat with Sean. And if you all don't know that brother, he is an amazing guy. Um, but just very thought provoking and the idea around creating a culture around your passion and your message and the thing that you're called to share. But you said, just so I can recap, this is what hit me when you were talking, like you better be ready for the visibility, right?
Mhm.
Like you want to build visibility, but you better be ready for it, meaning make sure you're good, make sure you have value to share. You said connect with the people that you want to most serve, connect with them, engage with them, and add value to them. And I want to make sure that people, got that, because I think that's really important. We want to make sure, and in today's market, I serve as a fractional CMO for a small group of speakers. And one of them sent me a video. They're just getting into some video editing, and they sent me a video and they said, what are your thoughts on this? And I shared with them my thoughts. And the key was, we have to know the people that we're trying to serve, how do they want to be served? And we have to then make sure we're packaging our information in that way. So when we think about, this idea, of visibility, and you mentioned social media, but what role really does social proof, like testimonials and consistent content and user generated content, like what role do those things play in really establishing authority? And how do new speakers like build that? How do we do that?
Yeah. So social proof is very important. And I never actually told you the second. I think you told me to give you two steps. After building an audience, you want to show up on video. And then, I'm going to get into the social proof. Some people say, well, Eric, I'm not comfortable on video. Here's my answer to them. Well, get comfortable. Like, that's not an excuse, right? People like, no one's comfortable on video when they start. I wasn't comfortable on video, right? You just have to start and stop worrying about what people think. Because if you're worried about what people think, you'll never do anything as substantial, right? So you have to start showing up on video. Why? Because 80% of the content that's consumed online is video. Like, do you know how much people connect with you when you put up a video? Like, so I was on your page, Lithia, and I got to meet people through your page. I mean, you do videos in your car. I'm checking out. Oh, okay, nice car, right? Like I'm seeing your life. I'm feeling like I know you, right? So now I'm thinking I'd rather have you come and speak because I feel like I know you than somebody that does what you do. Does not like people would say exactly what you do, right? So you have to show up on video. And if you don't like long videos, just do short clips, right? Short clips so people get to know you. And do it on a consistent basis. And then obviously some of those videos you'll have a call to action. Call to action is basically where you say, okay, if you want more information, send me a message. Or if you want to book me as a speaker, here, DM me and say, media kit or something, right? That's what we call it. So getting back to social proof, people need to see evidence that what you say you'll do, you're already doing. Right? They need to see evidence. The number one way how people can see that evidence is to hear other people talk about you. You can talk about yourself all day, and eventually it's going to be just bragging. But I can edify you for an hour, and nobody's going to say anything. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm talking about somebody else, right? I'm edifying you, right? Like when I brought you on the stage and I edified you, like you walk on water and glow in the dark. Right? So that's it. You want people to see other people say great things about you. So when let's say you go for a speaking engagement, right? And after it's done, you talk to the meeting holder and he says, thank you so much, Lithia. This was wonderful. I just love when you said this and when you said that. Said, thank you so much. Say, can you do me a favor? What you just said, could you just put it in a short video? It could be like a minute. And then they'll be like, okay, great. And then get them to do it right there. Because if you don't, they're not going to do it, right? Just get them to do it right there. Now you have a testimonial of someone that just saw you live that's excited, right? And now you put that on your page. Now here's the difference. When I'm looking at two different speakers, right? Let's say I'm looking for a branding coach and I'm looking at Livia and I'm looking at Joe, okay? Now I go on their site. If I see Joe has a lot of information, but no testimonials, I'm going to think, I don't know if he's going to deliver. But I go to your site and I'm seeing all these people saying all these great things about you. I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's in. It's no brainer, right? So you want to have people say, well, how many? As many as possible. Just accumulate testimonials. I remember when I started my business and I didn't have testimonials, it was harder to get people to sign up or to buy into it. But now that we have like 20 something testimonials, like people just come in and say, yeah, I'm ready to go. I see what you do, right? So if you take nothing else from this, make sure whatever you do, whether it's speaking, whether you have a course, a coaching program, whatever it is, the more testimonials you have, the better, right? The more examples, the less excuses.
Yeah.
you're not gonna have a lot of objections anymore when you have a lot of people saying she's a great speaker. She really helped us out. She was worth every penny, right? They're like, oh, okay, right? That's I mean maybe I'm beating a dead horse, but you gotta have testimonials. That it is powerful. It is very powerful. And then here's the thing. Some people think, well, I don't really, if I put testimonials out there, it's like I'm bragging. No, it's if you keep talking about yourself, you're bragging. But if anybody else is talking about you, it's not bragging. It's that they're just impressed by it. So
Right, right, right. What I love is that not only did you edify me, and not only did the other speakers who were there have an opportunity to edify the work that I did, edify me in the work that I did, but like you have a huge database. All those people you invited who got exposed to what it is that I was sharing, they began to edify in the comments in the chat. Like they were like, this is, this was amazing. So it was really encouraging to know that the message was being shared and that it was impactful. But it also just reminded me of how thirsty people are for great content, and when you offer them great content, they will respond. Like who can watch a great movie and not go tell somebody? Who cannot I mean, I have had people call me up and say, or text me and say, "Did you see Dr. Will's Facebook post?" Sometimes it's not even a video, it's just a t-shirt, like a shirt. And I'm like, "Did you see?" So when you have something that is good, that touches people, that reaches them, and then if you put it in the form of video, which is the most effective, I believe, the most effective medium and mode of really touching people and inspiring them, then it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And you
oh
can
yeah.
explode and get that out, right? So I did. So I want to recap because we have, and I put it in the chat, but build the audience and then use video to increase visibility were the first two. What strategies that you were going to tell us about from number one. So let me go back to question number two that I wanted to ask you. And it was really about the social proof, right? What role does it really play? And you share with us a little bit about testimonies and how people can really capture those. But I do have another question about testimonies. I'd like to, for a moment, just interact with our audience, Eric, and ask them, like, how many of you are effective in capturing testimonies? And I want you to put a one if you feel like you don't even do it and you're not very effective, and put a three if you feel like, oh, I do okay, and put a five if you feel like I got that thing down to a science. So if you could just put your numbers in the chat, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask a couple of the people who if you put more than a four, I want to hear from you. I want to give a couple of people who put a four or a five, raise your hand if you would like to share one strategy that has worked really well for you with regards to capturing video testimonies. Someone said written testimonies. Let me share with you real quick my little tip. So one of the things I love to do, Eric, is I love to just invite people onto Zoom and just ask them if they would have a quick 5-minute, 10-minute conversation with me about how my work has impacted them. And when they're talking to me and they're sharing from their heart, it is so different. Like sometimes when I ask people for a testimonial and would they shoot a video, what I get, I can't even use it because they're like, Lethea is great. She was great. And I love her because she was great. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not what you said when we were talking.
Exactly.
So one of the strategies I've done is I've started inviting people to a very quick, brief Zoom call where I can say, can you tell me a little bit more about what the work we've done together has impacted you? And it's okay that they're talking to me, because when I edit it and clip it out, we can make it, here's what, while talking to Melissa, here's what she said about, my program, whatever. So that has been really helpful. I've gotten some much better, much better testimonials. All right, Roderick. And then we have Teresa. Roderick.
Hello, Letha. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, beloved.
Yeah, great to meet you and to see everyone. I'm doing something a bit different on the video pieces. So whenever I speak, of course, I'm using Talkadot to get the written, but for the video, I actually went and purchased the DJI mic, the fluffy top that everybody sees. So, also being a best-selling author, as I'm signing my books, I'll ask folks, hey, can you give me 30 seconds? And I'm very, very specific on what I'm asking for. Tell me what you saw today that resonated with you, why other people should see it, and what'd you get out of this. And the last time I spoke in Scottsdale, I actually walked away with 10 video testimonials from that one. It was a good size audience, but still walked away with 10 videos. So every time I speak, now I get that done before I leave the building, because once you leave, they're off to life,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
things, you're no
Yep.
longer top of mind. So
Mhm.
get that. I sent it off to my team, and I'm now putting it out over social media.
Yes, I love that. That's Roderick, I'm glad you shared that, because what I've started to do at live events when especially if I'm doing a book signing, is I set my camera up like just right behind me. So if someone walks up and they just talk to me and they're like, "Oh my God, Lethea," and I'm signing the book and they're like, "Yeah, da, 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 da," it's all on video. It's just it's on a tripod right behind me. Thanks for sharing that, Roderick. We got time for one
Absolutely.
more.
One really quick thing for when you're doing virtual, not live, really quick. It's actually a part of my contract that would be done. So once that's done, I send over again quick snippet of what I'm looking for, and I've never had anyone say no.
Okay, wonderful. If you wouldn't mind, put that mic in the chat. People are asking for it. You dropped some nuggets.
Absolutely will.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. All right, we have Teresa. Teresa, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I again, when I'm on a call with someone, I will often, if they say something complimentary, I will invite them to record it on Zoom. But here's the one thing that's worked for me. I add a link to my link tree to my Google page review. And if I say anything to anyone that's of value, I ask them to do me a favor and give me a review. And I take that review and I turn it usually into some kind of social media post or video or add it to my website. People seem more willing to leave me a written review when I give them the link right there on the spot, especially as a form of payment for something I did that was kind or helpful.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Teresa, for sharing. I appreciate that. You are such, I call Teresa my walking business directory encyclopedia marketing guide. Like she went with us to Dubai at our Game Changers Mastermind retreat this past January, and people were like, she was dropping nuggets in the chat like the whole time. It was wonderful. So Teresa, thank you for always being available and always sharing great information. We love you here at BlackNSA. All righty. All righty. So let's continue. I got another burning question for you, Eric. Okay. All right. So we're talking about visibility. We're talking about growing our reach, and how do we really get people to see us so that we can serve them, right? If they can't see us and find us, we can't really serve them. But what do you think is the biggest mistake that speakers make when they focus on trying to promote themselves?
I think the biggest mistake is they don't decide on what they're specialized on, right? They don't demonstrate an expertise. I think it is, most people believe that if they're good at everything, then they'll get more opportunities. And it's the opposite is true, right? If someone comes to me and says, I love to speak on your stage, I'm like, great, what do you speak about? What's your signature talk? Well, I can talk about anything you want. I can talk mindset. I can talk social media. I can talk video marketing. Like I'm good at that. And every time they give me another thing they can do, I'm thinking they're not an expert at anything. I'm like,
The value just goes down and down and
the
down.
value goes down and down. I'm like, I'm like, you're actually not an expert. Like, I'm nice to people. I don't insult them, but in my head, I'm like, why you don't have any, a specialty. Think about this. Why do specialists make more than family doctors? Because you want to set an appointment with a family doctor, they're like 2 months away. With a specialist, 2 months away. Why? Because when you're specialized at something, you have way more value.
Yes.
And that people will pay you more to speak about that which you are specialized in, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. You can have like 2 talks or something, but you don't want to have a talk on every industry. Right, right. So I think that's very important. Specialize. Just believe in yourself that you'll succeed in your area. A lot of times people just I don't think they don't believe in themselves enough, so they feel that they have to do a lot for people to see them, right? But you
Yeah.
just have to take that niche and say, okay, this is it. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to be the best there is, and your opportunities will become more and more and more. I
Yeah.
think that's the biggest problem.
I love that, Eric. I know when I first started speaking, and I said I did 175 dates my first year. My average check was about $500.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
may sound like a lot, and it may sound like I was killing it, Philip, but I was killing it with either free chicken dinners or a
yeah.
$500 check, right?
You gotta start that
But
way.
but when people would ask me, "What do you speak on?" I would say, "Whatever you write the check for." Like, that's how I started, right? That's how I started. Like, what, I'll read a book tonight. I'll be ready tomorrow. Like, let's do the darn thing.
Yeah.
But that kept me locked into that low fee, low
Mhm.
value space. It wasn't until I found my lane, found my gifting, my area of expertise, and my people that I was able to. I've increased my speaking fee by over 13,000%.
Wow, that's amazing.
Found my people. I found my lane, and I want to encourage you all to do what Eric is saying. I want to say I met this woman, speaking about what you said, Eric. I met this woman who told me, she says, I'm a jewelry designer. I was at an expo and I was like, oh wow, I was excited because in the back of my mind, I don't have it with me, but I had a piece of jewelry that I wanted to be custom made. And I was looking for a designer. And so I was like, oh, great. Then she said, yeah, and I'm a hairstylist. And I was like, oh, and she said, and I'm an interior designer. I was like, oh, she's not for. So
Yeah.
we have to be careful of presenting ourselves as doing everything under the sun. We often will think that we are preventing ourselves from missing out on opportunities, but what we're actually doing is we're kind of selecting ourselves out of the opportunity because people aren't really hiring a speaker, especially in the wisdom economy. They aren't hiring a speaker, they are hiring a thought leader, right? And if you can't demonstrate thought leadership, it's really hard to get them to say yes and write a sizable check that's worth your time, energy, and effort. So we have a question that I want to go back and ask Eric before we get too far ahead. Someone asked in the chat, they said, they're thinking about, how do I promote before I speak? How can I promote during my speech? And how can I promote after I speak? I know that that's a little bit off topic, but based on kind of what the focus is today, do you have any advice for that individual who is thinking about, like, because I'm thinking about video and how they can use video to promote before, during, and after. Do you have any tips on that you could
So,
share?
so is the question promote the speaking or promote an offer to sell at the
They
speaking?
didn't say, but they
Okay.
said, how can I promote? And I'm thinking they're saying like or maybe they're sharing that. This is the BDA framework. Maybe they're saying we should be asking that. I don't know if Dr. Will, are you saying that's what we should be asking ourselves, is how can I promote before, how can I promote during, and how can I promote after? Why don't you just come on, Dr. Will, and just
Yeah, yeah. Let's
drop a
learn.
nugget. Just drop a nugget, Dr. Will. Come on.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I was sharing. As Eric was saying, one of the great things that he asked the question, how can I incorporate testimonials into my game plan? And so I was just sharing, that's the mindset that you have to have. Like, if I have an engagement, what am I doing to promote it before? So I'm telling everybody, hey, this Friday I'll be speaking at XYZ. Then what should I be doing during it? So during the event, I should get there early. I should be connecting with the audience. So what should I be doing during the event? I should tell the audience, hey, this is a tweetable. This is tweet this out, share this. And then what should I be doing after I speak? Automatically getting those testimonials. And so if you just make it a part of your framework, like for me, that's a part of my framework. Like getting testimonials, that's a part of the assignment. I haven't finished speaking until I get at least 5 testimonials. And so if you just make that a part of your process, it's a lot easier because it's like brushing your teeth. Oh, I didn't brush my teeth. Let me go back and get my testimonials.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. If you love what Dr. Will just shared, you do not want to miss our June BlackNSA mentorship call. We just rolled it out. Every month, we now have a master speaker, someone who has proven to be super successful, and they actually spend 90 minutes answering your questions. And I am so thankful for your yes, Dr. Will. Thank you for agreeing to be our June speaker. Thanks for dropping those nuggets as well. Awesome. All
He,
right.
he answered the question he asked though. That was pretty good.
All
Yeah.
right, so Eric, I just want to ask you again, when we think about just this, I want to kind of we talked about the mistakes that people make and this whole idea of trying to be a generalist and not a specialist. But what is the fastest way to really become a super like I want to be an in-demand speaker, right? That's what I know everyone on this call is saying that in their heart. Like, I want to be an in-demand speaker. I want to be a super sought after speaker. I want inbound, leads and my phone ringing. Like, what is the fastest way to do that?
Okay. So short of hiring somebody like an agency or something like that, because obviously that's out there. But if it's just you and you have a small budget, you want to speak on as many stages as possible. And when I say stages, a podcast is a stage, right? An online summit is a stage, a live is a stage. Like you can connect with someone like you and I, Lithia, I can speak on your live, you can speak on my live, and now I'm speaking to your audience and you're speaking to my audience, right? So there are different ways to do it. So you need to be out there just over and over and over. There's no shortcut. You never know where you're going to get the business from. Like
Right.
people always prejudge, like, oh, I probably won't get business here. I probably won't get business here. You have no idea. You have no idea where you're going to get business, right? You're going to see, there are going to be people that will see you and say, wow, I need to hire her. She'll be great on my stage. And you
Yeah.
don't know who people know. You don't know
Right.
who people know. So don't stop prejudging, right? You don't know. Right. I have a group of entrepreneurs that meet, like 3 times a week, about 4,000 or so. And in that group, one lady, she was speaking, and someone heard her and said, "Oh, we need a speaker just like that for this next month." They hired her. I think they gave her like $5,000, and she doesn't usually even charge. She just said it at the right place to the right person, and they said, "Hey, we give you a check," right? So you want to be in as many places as you can, masterminds, groups of people where your target audience will be, the meeting holders, right? Let's say you speak on leadership, right? Go on ChatGPT and pull up all the leadership conferences. Now, what you do is you contact the meeting holders for those leadership conferences, right? And you also want to connect with all of them so they see all your content, right? So, and before you know it, you're on a podcast here, and, obviously studio speaking is one of them, right? But different ways, as many places as you can to speak one to many. You just want to be able to speak one to many. I literally have in my calendar, I put it in yellow when I speak one to many.
Mhm.
So I see how many yellows I have for the week, right? Because if I'm just doing one to one, you don't get out to a whole lot of people, right? So yeah.
I love that. Um, just so many great nuggets. I mean, if you look at the chat, I know you're not probably paying attention to the chat, but people are really enjoying this conversation. And I just want to thank you again, Eric, for making the time to do this because I think this is a really important topic. I want can I just share with you kind of an example that really quantifies what you've been talking about so far?
Yes. Yes.
So I have a video series, and it's the Game Changers weekly video series. And basically, Chad Hymas 8 years ago told me to do this. And basically, I create a video. Clients get a video a week from me, and it's 10K for the whole year, right? And what they get is a 3.5 minute video, but their logo is on it. So I basically send them at the first of the month all their videos or the 4 videos for that month. Well, I got a call from this guy. And first of all, I want to just say that it is the upsell after I speak. So I had never pitched it to someone who hasn't seen me speak on a stage before. So you bring me in to speak. The next thing we're going to offer you is this video series as a continuity program. So I get this call from this guy who's like, Lethea, I just had to call you because these videos that you've created are changing my life. So I'm talking to him and we're having a great time. And I think I'm talking to an employee of one of my clients, like, one of these organizations that bought my videos. I'm talking to one of their employees who's tracked me down. So he says, yeah, for the last 3 months, my friend who works at Lotus Marketing has been emailing me your videos. And I'm like, what? So it's not even a client, right? He says, but I want to know, how can I get those videos for my people? And then he paid 10K to bring those videos into his organization. So when you said, Eric, like, you never know who's listening, you never know who's watching, you never know like who's benefiting from the video, but a video lives on, and it is one of the most effective ways to capture the essence of your speaking style and your message. So I really, really, really want to encourage our listeners to leverage video, and people are going to share the second concept or tip there to take away is some people are so super protective. Sean and I on our call, we were talking about this because he gives away such great information. And it's like, why would you hold your best and give people something that's marginal and then expect them to pay you top dollar for what it is you offer? No, no, no. Give them your best and make them chase you down. Right? Chase you down. So if you're giving them your best and then they're on a stage like yours, Eric, where they got you and your tribe edifying them and talking about them, that's like a 1-2 sucker punch. Like it's over then. It's a wrap.
Yes.
I want to ask this question. Gail said she does coaching via Zoom, and people frequently tell her in sessions how much they loved it. And she has considered asking if they will repeat, and she recorded at the end of the call. I'm assuming, Gail, that you don't record the Zoom call, like the coaching call wasn't recorded. Because if it was recorded, I would just say, ask them for permission to use just that clip of what they said about you. Eric, do you have anything you would like to say? It says, she said, does it sound okay? Or how should she approach that? But any ideas
Yes.
to share with her on that as well?
Yeah. First of all, record everything. Record everything. Yeah, record everything. The reason why you want to record, because you never know when someone's gonna, drop something like that, and they're gonna say it out from their heart with the enthusiasm, right? And then all you have to say is, "Do you mind if we use it?" Right? So I record everything. You never know when you can use that recording. Like I do, obviously I do events. So while you're at my event, I'm going to ask you, how do you like the event? And then you're going to say it. And then my next event, I'm going to use those clips to promote my next event. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you always want to record and then, ask permission if you can use, obviously.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say too, real quick, that I remembered, most of you know E.T., right? Eric Thomas. When he started out, he wasn't really charging a lot. Most people weren't hiring him. So he did a video, he put it online, and a school called him and said, can you what you said in that video, can you do it at our school? Can you make that presentation? And he said, sure. I mean, I can add some things to it. They said, no, don't add anything. He said, so, okay, so you guys want to pay me $15,000 to say exactly what you saw on YouTube? Yeah. And that's an example right there. If he didn't give his best, they wouldn't pay him $15,000 to repeat his best, right? So put it out there, draw the people. Don't worry. You have more. You have more. So I just want to reiterate what you said. Put the best out there, and so you can actually draw people in.
Yeah. I want to highlight two things real quick. Brittany shared a really great tip for everyone. She talked about leveraging LinkedIn testimonials as well. So the videos you're getting and or asking people for just endorsements and testimonials through LinkedIn, I think, is another important point to keep in mind.
Yes.
I have a question for you, Eric, or actually Sean has this question for you. You were talking about Starbucks earlier, and his question was basically, when we think about Starbucks and brands like that, what do you recommend for a brand to stay fresh in the market, especially when the market shifts, when we think about, marketing and video specifically? And what he pointed out was the fact that Starbucks, came out of the gate And, when we look at where they are now, their market is shrinking, right? And so some of us, when I think about all of our family members, and when I say family members, I'm talking about our BlackNSA, family, a lot of them have been impacted by DE&I shifts, right? So when your market shrinks, what are some things that can be done to help you stay fresh?
Well, first of all, you have to have a mindset that that things are going to get better. Like a lot of people, they just cower. It's like, oh, you know what? It's not going right. I'm just gonna go sit around for 4 years and wait till it rides out. Like you can't do that. You can't do that. There's less competition now than the last 4 years because a lot of people are quitting. So first of all, don't quit, right?
All right.
It's exciting when most people are stopping. That's exciting because that's when you really need to ramp up. That's when you need to do more videos. That's when you need to get out there even more and capture the market, right?
Mhm.
And do something that separates you from the masses. Do
Yeah,
something that
absolutely.
separates you from the masses. And people want to follow a leader. People want to follow someone that's enthusiastic when everybody's falling apart. People
Yeah.
don't want that. And when they see your videos, like, wow, this guy, he keeps on going. Why?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what we want, right? So I would just say stay positive no matter what. And like I said, separate yourself from the masses and don't give up. Don't subscribe to that whole mentality that things aren't going right and maybe we need to stop or take a break. Look, find something to do and go all out. This is the time to go all out because there's more opportunity out there than you can even think of.
Absolutely.
I was on a call with someone just yesterday, and she told me that she said, yeah, I'm not really selling my coaching anymore because people don't have much money anymore. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
We're
Right?
still buying houses.
People are making people are making 6-figure days. Like, what are you talking about? Right. So it starts right here. It starts right here. Get around look, I'm in a guy named Myron Golden. I'm in his mastermind, right? I pay a lot to be in there, but I'm around all these people and they're talking about all these opportunities. You'll think that this is not 2025. Like they're like so much opportunity out there, right? So stay around the right people. Don't fall into that whole negativity.
Right. That's why I love hanging out with you, Eric. Like every time we get on the phone, like we have a party. I don't care what the economy is doing. I don't care what people are saying. Like we are iron sharpening iron. And that really is so key because you could be on a phone call with someone and they're like, girl, nobody's speaking. Everybody's saying they're speaking, gigs are getting canceled. That could be one story. But I believe, like, I want to be on the phone call with people who believe what I believe. And my belief is that every disruption creates a new opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There is an opportunity in every disruption. Yes. I was coaching a client who is in the DE&I space, and I said, so yeah, things are changing. Like there's a lot of change happening. And yes, DE&I is the interest in that is decreasing, but what it's causing is an increase in how do we manage this disruption? How do we manage all of this change that we're experiencing? What if you pivoted and started focusing on, from a leadership perspective, how do you navigate change and help your people learn to navigate change so that the work can still get done? And they were like, oh,
people will pay for that.
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't know what to do. So what you just said, people, that's a high ticket offer right there. Let me write that down.
Clustine, she lowered her hand, but Clustine, you had your hand up. I wanted to make sure we got.
Oh, I was just, hello, everybody. I was just adding to what you were saying for Gail. I record my my classes on Zoom, right?
Mhm.
And so at the end, I go around the virtual room and I say, okay, what did you get out of today? And so it just gives me opportunity to get some testimonial clips that I can use at the end of every class.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much for contributing and sharing that, bringing the
You're welcome.
point to life. Wonderful. Thank you. So I got one more question for you, Eric. I know you're super busy and you're a jet setter. Every time I talk to you, you're traveling from here to there all over the world. But before I ask you this question, I want to do two things. I have this video that I think does a really, really good job in a very short amount of time to really encapsulate visually what you've been teaching today. So I want to just take a moment and share this video with everyone. So everyone, please bear with me for a second. Here we go.
Are you a coach, speaker, or author ready to elevate your brand, credibility, and visibility? Welcome to studiospeaking.com, where we host the VIP Speakers Studio Experience. This is the ultimate platform to showcase your expertise, connect with high-level professionals, and generate real results. This is more than just a speaking opportunity. It's a transformational brand experience. Imagine having professionally produced content that positions you as an authority, the kind of content that opens doors, grabs attention, and builds trust instantly. You'll be surrounded by influential leaders as you share your message with a new audience. At our one-of-a-kind, state-of-the-art studio, you'll speak to a live virtual audience and walk away with done-for-you video reels. We deliver high-quality photos for your website and social media. You will have the opportunity to network and collaborate with top-tier speakers and coaches. Imagine receiving a customized world-class award celebrating your success. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. After every event, our speakers land speaking gigs, gain new clients, and close more sales, all while positioning themselves as thought leaders in their space. It's not just an event, it's a launching pad for your next level of influence, income, and impact.
I signed up for the VIP Studio Speakers Experience not once, but twice. While I was in their studio, someone in the audience saw me speak, and by the time I walked out of the studio, I had a speaking gig, just like that.
Let me just say it's modern, state of the art, and it's exactly what you need for your brand, for your message, for your company.
It was well worth the price of admission, and I would have easily paid double what he asked for.
If you want to be seen as credible, if you want to be seen as the expert, if you want to be seen in a bigger way, you need to speak in a studio.
Thank you for providing that video, Eric. I wanted people to see that because we live in a world where it's becoming, it's not even about what it's becoming. We live in a world where there are opportunities beyond a live stage that is in person that there are opportunities that we could, just so many virtual opportunities that exist. And if we focus on more than just the in-person gigs and focus on both, we could actually increase our income tremendously. And having social proof that you know how to do that, that you know how to deliver virtual content, and even being seen in that light, I think is really, really powerful and valuable and beneficial. Are there, if you have any questions that we haven't covered yet, please make sure you put them in the chat. I have one more question for Eric, and then we're going to answer a couple more of your questions, and then we're going to wrap up for today. I know Brittany asked about case studies. Have either of us leveraged case studies as we're using videos to amplify our testimonials? I have used case studies. I've used it primarily with my digital marketing agency. But Eric, we just saw your case study, like that was your case study. So I want to close with this last question, Eric, and we're going to bring it home. But I just want to ask you, how does networking and collaboration help really generate speaking engagements?
Networking and collaboration is huge, right? Because especially when you get referrals from like fellow speakers, people that you met at conventions, things of that nature, it's really a game changer. If there is an opportunity for someone to speak on a stage, and they have to jump through all these hoops to be chosen, but then I tell them, I said, look, you need to just hire Lethea. She's the best out there. Like, you guys will not regret it. They're like, okay. They don't need to talk to anybody else. You're in. You don't have to sell yourself, right? So that's why you want to be able to connect with people, get to know people on a personal level. Like, I can refer you, you can refer me. That gets you in the door much faster than the traditional way where you just have to apply like everybody else.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, networking collaboration is huge. One thing that we are going to do, I don't think I've even told you, but all the people that have spoken on our stage, we're creating a site for everybody to connect. Right.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
wow.
So that you all have heard to hear.
I love that. I love that. I
Yes.
can't
Yeah.
wait to
Yes.
get
Yeah.
that email. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
wait to get that
yeah,
email.
and of course, no cost and anything for you all because you're alumni.
Mhm.
But because I'll give you an example. A lady named Tamara, she speaks internationally, like in London and all over the world, and she was telling everybody at the table how they can get those gigs, and people are like, oh, I need to. They're taking notes, right? Again, it's because she did it. So that's it. I think it's just crucial to be in groups where you can refer each other.
Yes, yes. And speaking about referring each other, we have, and I think Brittany Coles is still with us, but she is the chair of our community and engagement team, and they actually are rolling out this month, next week. We have our first ever pitch and referral meeting. So drop your LinkedIn, your LinkedIn link in the chat so that we can connect with one another. I am so excited, and just being the person that Eric is, he has given us a free gift today. And this free gift is an ebook called 100 Ways for Coaches and Consultants to Attract More Clients and Make More Sales. So I'm putting that in the chat as well right now. And I just want to encourage Eric, can you tell people, I know some people, Philip has already worked with you, I've worked with you. Robert Kennedy, immediate past president, has worked with you. There are people here who are like, I need to talk to this dude, Eric. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you if they're interested in learning more about the video studio session that you shared and talked about today?
Sure. Actually, if you just go to studiospeaking.com, click on book a call, and we can meet face to face, and we can talk about that. If you want to send me a message, LinkedIn, just go to Eric F. King. If you look for Eric King, you'll find 200 of them. But if you look for Eric F. King, I'm just one guy. And if anybody ever comes out that Eric F. King, I'll pay him so I can just keep that one spot.
One spot. Yeah, that one spot.
Yeah, so studiospeaking.com if you are seriously interested. We have another event coming. Like I said, we have one in a couple of weeks. The great Miss Pam Perry will be there. I saw her earlier. And then we have one in September. That's usually our biggest one. We're still looking for a few speakers. So studiospeaking.com, I'll be glad to speak with you.
Yeah, and Pam also is speaking for our chapter coming up real soon. Pam Perry will be our speaker. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's June, isn't it, Pam? Are you our June speaker? Yeah. She's our June educational speaker. So come and hear more great nuggets from Pam. Don't miss it. Brittany Cole dropped a really great nugget in the chat. Go check that out. She gave us some powerful questions speakers can use to get better story-driven testimonials, because we know stories capture attention and keep people engaged. And then also, I think Teresa is going to drop she's dropped our Talkadot link. If you could give us feedback, like, we do this work for free, nobody gives us a check, but it is very helpful when we can get feedback. Some of you had a chance to come on screen and actually tell us what you thought, but then it's also important when we could track those testimonials for those of you who didn't, and be able to capture that and put that on our website. So we would love for you to share that. I'm officially closing the meeting. Thank you, Eric, for your brilliance. Thank you so much for just being who you are, like an amazing human being. And I want us to answer Miss Ilinda's question as we get ready to, kind of go into what else we have to do today. She asked about what happens, or what do you have to say about that website that has all those testimonials on it? And she's like, I don't need all of that. You sold me in the video. What would you say to her?
I love that question.
I do
love that
too.
question. So I want you to understand that when you have a system that works, right? For some people, they may not see it or it doesn't work for them, but it still works, right? So for every 100 people that are impressed by a testimonial, there'll be a few that will say, "Oh, I don't need any of that," but it's okay. You still need testimonies. You need a lot of testimonies.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
my
yeah,
response would go ahead. No,
you and you don't even know which testimonial is going to resonate. Like I said, I've had a sales coaching program for years, and this one lady, Sabrina, she comes into my coaching, and I show her how to sell high ticket offers, and she's making all this money. And I said, okay, do a testimonial for me. And I'm thinking she's going to talk about how much she made. You know what she said? She said, yeah, Eric is really a trustworthy guy, and that's all she said. And I'm thinking, that's it. But do you know how many people signed up for my offer because of that one video? They're like, Eric, I watched a video that said you're a trustworthy guy, and that's all I need to hear. Right. So you don't know. So you need to have multiple testimonials because you don't know what's going to resonate. Right. So yeah, you don't know what's going to resonate.
Yeah, my thought for Ilinda when she was talking, and I said, I was thinking to myself, those testimonials aren't for you. Because they don't
exactly.
They're for the other 99 people that are going to love them and take action because of it.
Yeah. And another thing too, by the way. So Lethea, you're one of my testimonials, right? Now someone's going to come on my side, doesn't know me, like Pam didn't know me, like doesn't know me at all, but it's going to see you and say, oh, if Lethea did it, I'm in because I trust her, right? That's why you have to have those. You don't know who they're gonna see it, like Pam. Oh, my Pam, like people see Pam on the stage, like, oh my goodness, I got to do this. She's the queen of PR, right? Right. So that's the thing. So I don't want anybody to get confused at all. Testimonials are a good thing.
Yeah.
Good thing. You need to have testimonials.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Teresa, Talk About is asking for a code. Can you please put that in the chat? People are texting me saying that they need the code. Thanks for handling that for us, beloved. And then the last thing that Miss Ilinda said, and thank you, Pam. I saw that you have to leave, beloved. We'll see you in a few weeks. One of the things that Miss Ilinda asked was, well, how do you stay encouraged to shoot video when you get low responses and low feedback? Can you share a little bit about that, Eric?
Yes. Well, number one, you can find out what you need to do to get more responses, because maybe you're SEO, right? There are different things to look at. But generally, you can't let anything stop you. Like I've done videos that got 500, 600 people. I've done videos that got me multiple clients, high ticket clients. But then I've done videos that get me one view. I'm not going to stop doing videos. I got one view, 2 views. That like don't let that bother you, because that's just like I saw a video once about like a famous guy, and he had like 5 views. I'm like, he's famous. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You just keep going. Don't let likes and the lack of likes bother you. Just keep going, because you don't know what video is going to resonate with people.
Absolutely. I love that. I actually closed like $102,000 worth of sales from a very small audience, like 30 people in an audience. So don't be dismayed by small numbers, because it's not, it's not always just about the how big or how many people are liking and commenting. That is great, and that is helpful. But what you want to look at is, what is the overall health of the business? Am I overall, am I getting traction? Is my list growing? Are people recognizing me? Is my phone ringing? Look at it more holistically than just how many views you have on your videos. The other thing, and I'm gonna bring this a little bit broader as I wrap us up, I want to be clear. A lot of what we talked about today was using video intentionally from a promotional perspective to promote your business. And Eric F. King is the king of that. So I want you to, check him out and look a little bit further about how, he can help you do that. And as you prepare to, maybe go into his studio, I want you to just practice shooting video on your own. Like, just really get more comfortable with the idea of shooting video. I just want to let you know and remind you that you were born to do this. Like, you are here because there's a pull, a call. Like, some of you, the free ebook that we have on our website that I wrote called "You Were Born to Speak." Like, many of you know this is what you were born to do, and so you don't give up. How do you not be what you were created to be? Like, answer that for me. Like, how do you choose, well, I'm gonna go do something different. I'm gonna go not be a flower. How does a flower say, I'm gonna not go be a flower? How does a giraffe say, I'm gonna go not be a giraffe, right? So how do you go and not be what you've been called to be? So what we do, especially in times of difficulty, is like Eric said, we hang around great people who have a positive mindset, who understand that every disruption is just, it creates a new opportunity, right? And we begin to shift and grow and stretch ourselves. So with that, beloved, thank you so much for your yes. Thank you for responding to the text message. I will pass on to our marketing team how effective you shared our marketing strategy has been. And with that, I wish you well, be blessed and encouraged. And until next time, go out and make a difference, because you are the game changers that the world needs today. Thanks a lot, Eric. And thanks everyone. See you.